Hello, and welcome back to Fat Bear Week 2025 Semifinals. We have 856 versus 128 Grazer and 602 Floatato versus 32 Chunk. These were both pretty tight races, and let's just get straight into it. First matchup is 602 Floatato versus 32 Chunk, and for me, this was a pretty controversial one. Personally, I think that Floatato is probably the bigger bear. There, I said it. I do think that he is a little flatter looking than 32 Chunk. But even when you look at the footage, and I'll play some footage here, there's literally one of them is the file is like fat profile. It doesn't get much fatter than that. 32 Chunk doesn't have any files called that, but it is a little harder to tell with 32 Chunk because the footage is not great that we have of him this year. But at first glance, if you look look at their faces proportionally to their body, if you look at the eyes to nose distance, it just kind of looks like 602 is bigger. He just looks wider. I wish that 32 Chunk was rotated a little more sideways. It'd be easier to tell. And so they're just very, very close. And that being said, this is where the question of extenuating circumstances, does it matter? I would say, Chunk gained a disability this year and he's still keeping up with the competition. That's super impressive. And I think that he should be commended for that. Should he have won this matchup? Because he did. Officially, the numbers are 70%. On Tumblr, it's 71%. I don't know. I think at the very least 602 Floatato did an amazing job, and there is probably some alternate universe in which he has won. But yeah, I don't know. I have super mixed feelings on these two. I wish we had better footage of 32 Chunk to have a little bit of a better comparison. I do think that 602 Floatato is the bigger bear, but I'm at peace with 32 Chunk winning. The comment that we got here is, "I'm so sad my boy 602, aka Floatato, didn't make it to the finals by drowning in greed." So that is that matchup. And then we have 128 Grazer versus 856. And this one I think is very clear cut, very straightforward. 856 is just the bigger bear. Honestly, this one was 128 Grazer, she did amazing. She's been a very strong competitor. She comes out very frequently to these competitions and 2 years in a row won. But I feel like maybe she's let herself go a little bit in the sense that she's gotten comfortable. I think she's gotten comfortable and she's like, I don't need to try so hard this year. Maybe it's not laziness on her part. Maybe it's just she's tired. It's very possible that she's just tired of winning, or maybe didn't feel like putting in the effort this year. Maybe she had other things going on in her personal life. We don't know. This, if that's the case, then that's really impressive that she got to the semifinals despite not really putting on a ton of weight. So, good for 128 Grazer for getting to this point, but this was clearly going to 856. And shockingly, I honestly thought that the 602 Floatato and 32 Chunk bracket would be closer, but this one ended up being slightly closer. It's both the official and the Tumblr rounded to 68%. I think Tumblr was 68.2 and the official was 67.8 or something like that. They were both very close, but they rounded out to the same. And I just thought I'd put that there. And I thought it's interesting that 856 beat out 128 Grazer, because if 128 Grazer had beat out 856, then she would have gone head to head with Chunk again, and they had gone to the semifinals together in 2023 and 2024, and then had duked it out in 2020 as well. But I just think that's super interesting that they were literally one bear away from once again being at the semifinals. So I'm glad that 856 is stepping up to the plate here. So yeah, that's it for the semifinals. Stay tuned for Fat Bear Tuesday, the finals. 856 versus 32 chunk.